Good afternoon. The next member to testify is Congressman Filner, and welcome. We're pleased to receive your testimony. You're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good to talk to you. We should just have a little coffee and talk about this.
All right.
My statement I have for the record, let me just tell you what I think is going on here on a very summary basis. With the leadership of your committee and the Democratic leadership, we were able to do a really good job for veterans in the last year. We added money in the concurrent resolution from the year before. We added money in the supplemental resolution, and of course there was a big increase in the fiscal '08 budget. So I thank all of you and Mr. Spratt for that leadership. We hope to continue that upward trend because we have long number of years which we did not keep up with the needs, and we have a confluence of enormous numbers of troops coming home from Iraq and Afghanistan with the aging, especially of our Vietnam vets. We got to take care of both.
Absolutely.
By the way, we think of it as a small war in Iraq. We're approaching 1 million veterans from that war alone, and their filing of claims is over 350,000 now out of that number. Contrast that, Mr. Moore, with the official 25,000 or so casualty figure that comes out of Iraq. We got 10 or more times that people filing claims, so something is disconnected there. And as the needs are different with mental health and traumatic brain injury so prevalent, you have to build a whole staff around new needs. So we have incredible need amongst both the older veterans and newer veterans. The administration did not, in their request, did not take that into account. They gave basically a 5% or so increase in the health budget, in the so-called discretionary part of their budget, which barely covers inflation. And the only way they even got up to that is that they cut virtually every other account in their budget. Research, for example, and cutting research is not a good idea. And we've provided you, where they made all those other cuts. So what we do, and also they did something they've done every year for the last, I guess, 7 or 8, and Congress has never accepted, but had fees and co-pays raised for both pharmacy and for office visits. Congress has never accepted. We won't accept it this year. So we got to make up for that money that they included in their budget as revenue. So what we do is recommend to you a discretionary budget which is about 8.5% above the administration's request. I'm trying to see if I have that figure here. It's about an 8% a real increase, not just the phony with the fees in there. And if you know what I mean when I say the independent budget, which is put together by the major veterans groups, they put together every year. And as a ranking member, I was waving that around. Says that's what we ought to fund. That's what we ought to fund, and we do. We have about 1% higher, in fact, of our recommendations above the independent budget. So that will put us in a position with regards to the veterans community in this country, very significant. So again, we increased our recommendation increases the administration's request to a request that takes into account inflation, but also adds to all the counts that they decreased. And we need to make up, I think, on the mandatory side, the money from their revenue that they assume will come from revenue of increased co-payments. Our 4 priorities for the coming year are, 1, getting rid of the current backlog of disability claims, which is over 600,000. And we will have plans to do that. There have been in past budgets significant plus-ups of personnel, but we're going to try to cut it through with a different approach to viewing the claims, not as an adversary basis, but on the way now the IRS tends to treat your 1040 when you filed. If you have a refund check, you'll get it in 3 weeks. Then they'll audit it later. That's what we would like to see a disability claim system. We have to modernize the GI Bill for the 21st century. We want to make sure everybody gets mental health care. And we will probably present a more controversial proposal to make the health care spending part of the mandatory part of the budget. But that will be coming to you separately. It has no budget consequences as a, in numbers. It's a way of treating the budget in the future. We think our recommended views and estimate will put us in a position where this Congress can say to our veterans, both the new ones and the old ones, we value your service, we treat you with respect, and we're going to take care of your health care needs. That's what we hope to do with your help, Mr. Chairman.
Congressman Filner, I want to thank you for your service as Chairman of the Veterans Affairs Committee, and I appreciate your testimony here today. I think we all, and I tell my folks back home, whatever you think about the situation in Iraq, we all have a special obligation and a moral obligation to support our people who serve, their families, and our veterans. And I think most people in this country now appreciate and understand that responsibility, unlike back during Vietnam, as you'll recall. So I appreciate your testimony here today and what you're doing. I think we've also just seen the tip of the iceberg as far as traumatic brain injury and PTSD, folks returning from Iraq and Afghanistan, and it may take months or sometimes 2 or 3 years for some of those symptoms to start to show up, but we've got to be prepared to provide the services to our people. So I thank you, sir.
Thank you again.
The committee stands in recess subject to the call of the chair without objection.